Throughout the extensive history of the Sith, war and conflict have been ever present. The Sith, notorious for their pursuit of power and dominance, have repeatedly clashed against the Jedi in numerous wars spanning over thousands of years. And in their quest for victory against the Jedi, the Sith would meticulously design and craft battle armor, seeking any advantage to prevail in their quest to kill the Jedi and destroy the Republic. And this armor of theirs became a symbol of their strength, and many Sith warriors would cherish their armor dearly. However, despite this deep appreciation for battle armor, why were the Sith ultimately compelled to cease wearing it? To fully understand why the Sith eventually abandoned wearing armor, it's essential to dive into its significance within the culture and its origins. In the earliest days of the Sith, armor served multiple purposes. While it was undoubtedly used for combat, as conflict within the Sith Order was very common, it also was not a rare sight to see it during a time of peace, as it functioned as a ceremonial attire imbued with a profound cultural importance, as well as just style. They also wore armor to signify an individual's status and importance. Much like in real-world civilizations such as ancient Egypt, the craftsmanship and design of Sith armor was elaborate and reflected the wearer's ranks and achievements within Sith hierarchy. Sith armor was so important to the culture that it eventually became part of their core beliefs, and their armor was more than just protection or decoration. It embodied the Sith's connection to the dark side of the Force. During times of conflict, however, the function and designs of Sith armor did evolve. No longer was it just ceremonial, it was re-engineered to offer greater flexibility and protection to the Sith. A prime example of this was when we saw Darth Malgus, who, during the Battle of Alderaan, withstood a thermal detonator blast to the face and continued on fighting as if nothing happened thanks to his armor. This just goes to show that the armor was used to ensure the Sith's survival in even the harshest of conditions. Sith battle armor was also created to be intimidating. An essential aspect of their strategy was to install fear in their enemies. The Sith believed that fear was a very powerful weapon, and their armor was designed to reflect this ideology. The fearsome appearance of their armor often included spikes, dark colors, and menacing masks, and occasionally a voice changer. This intimidation factor not only made their armor terrifying and visually stunning, but it also enhanced the user's strength through the dark side of the Force, as it would use the fear from their opponents to fuel them. The psychological impact of such armor was also very significant, as it could significantly demoralize their opponents before the battle even began, so much so that many of them would even surrender before fighting. Different types of Sith armor also denoted specific roles on the battlefield. For instance, Sith assassins often wore darker robes to blend into the shadows, whereas Sith lords donned bulky and highly noticeable armor that announced their presence and dominance. Furthermore, Sith warriors decorated their armor with trophies and battle markings, showcasing their strength and achievements. These decorations included symbols of defeated foes, pieces of enemies' armor, or other war trophies. Despite its importance, however, to the Sith would eventually stop wearing armor altogether, primarily following the Battle of Ruusan and the explosion of the Thought Bomb. This pivotal battle seemingly wiped out the Sith Order, save for one survivor, Darth Bane, who believed that the Sith had become too numerous and undisciplined, leading to their eventual downfall, and realized that if the Sith were to ever return to the galaxy as a powerful force again, they would need to adapt and survive, and his new strategy involved a much more covert approach, avoiding direct confrontation with the Jedi, and instead of engaging lightsaber duels against the Jedi, the Sith would infiltrate and rise within the ranks of the Republic, and ultimately destroy the Jedi from within. However, this grand plan of theirs required them to blend in with the rest of the galaxy, which would be very difficult if they were constantly wearing their distinctive armor. So to achieve their discreetness, they would need to adapt a more inconspicuous attire. Over generations, this practice did lead to the discontinuation of wearing armor. As the Sith focused on their grand plan, this shift also likely forced the Sith to hone in their skills in the dark side, as they would need to compensate for the lack of physical protection, and without armor they had to rely more on their abilities and cunning to make them dangerous adversaries. When Emperor Palpatine rose to power and the Sith reemerged, armor made a partial return. Notable figures like Darth Vader, Savage Opress, and the Inquisitors did wear armor for protection, illustrating how the Sith's approach to armor evolved over time while still retaining some of its original and traditional uses. Darth Vader armor, for instance, was a life support system as well as a suit for combat gear, providing both protection and a constant reminder of his pain and anger and the cost of the dark side, which fueled his connection to the dark side. This reemergence of armor during Palpatine's reign showed the balance between maintaining Sith traditions and adapting new strategies, and this adaptation reflects the Sith's ability to evolve and survive throughout the eras, using both their past wisdom and new innovations to achieve their goals. And in case you're wondering what type of materials the Sith would use to create their armor, 4 notable materials they used was Orblex, Beskar, bones of dead animals, and cortosis. We actually got to see cortosis for the first time in live action in the new Acolyte show. And fun fact, cortosis was a metal that upon lightsaber impact would deactivate the lightsaber for a brief amount of time. In conclusion, the The evolution of Sith armor from ceremonial attire to a tool of intimidation and protection, and eventually to its abandonment for strategical purposes, mirrors the border changes in the Sith's philosophy and tactics. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, it would mean so much to me if you could like and subscribe on the video, as it would help the channel out a ton. Also, make sure to comment what your favorite battle was in Star Wars in the comments down below. And with that, my fellow Star Wars nerds, may the Force be with you.